Hey, Invincible here, and we're going to do a little inner coaching process after share a little bit about abusive relationships, what that is, what an abusive relationship means, and what's at the root of an abusive relationship, really, actually, and how do we break free from that. And I've got a lot of experience here, starting at 10 years old. I got extreme exposure to abuse in a relationship, witnessing my mother be physically abused by her boyfriend at the time, and she would later marry. There was also some challenges in her relationship with my real dad that were never nearly as severe. I would say that this relationship that she got into really was intense. Now, there was a lot of violence and continued for years, and it affected me greatly. It also affected the type of relationships I would create for myself. And so when we talk about abusive relationships, we're talking about relationships where our needs are dismissed, invalidated, denied, and the quality of our mental and emotional and even physical health and well-being is diminished. And it can be very challenging to even realize that this is happening. It seems to happen sometimes subtly to those of us who are attracted to abusive relationships. And abusive relationships don't necessarily mean it's physical abuse. It could just be that people just don't respect and honor us. They don't hear us out. They're controlling and manipulative. It always seems initially that we're the victim of an abusive relationship and that we're not at cause for this. And this can be the trap that gets us there because we really don't see it. Like, we're innocently enough not aware that there's anything that I'm doing to get me into this. But there always is some level of choice and some level of responsibility that I'll be able to find at some point when I do enough, inner coaching. I can discover what's going on inside that has me in this place, and that I had made some serious decisions that got me here, keep me here, and they're all part of my own psychological and emotional conditioning. So let's talk about those roots, the real roots of abusive relationship. When people are not treating you well, or they're, you just keep experiencing pain inside of this relationship, communication's failing and breaking down, and you're making your best effort, and you really care. You might even have real love, and yet you continue to experience what you might call abuse, or, at least neglect, or something that's uncomfortable. Just doesn't feel right. Like, the relationship doesn't feel like it's nurturing. It's not wholesome. It seems to be diminishing to you in your experience. And so let's assume that you really are just a good person and you care very much. Why is it that good people get stuck in these situations? I mean, I'm assuming that you're not causing this by being a violent and abusive person yourself, right? Because this happens. There are people, just good people, who are kind and caring, but they're not manipulative. They do their best to be good, but they find themselves with people who just take advantage of them, mistreat them. Well, the roots of this go way deep, well into the subconscious. But when someone starts to get abusive, or is dismissive, or invalidating, or negating, doesn't let you speak, they're not interested in hearing what's there for you. They can't be wrong about anything. They make you wrong about everything. You might notice that you have a tendency to want to try and change the situation. That maybe the more painful it becomes, the more you try to fix the situation. Maybe you try to fix yourself at first, think something's wrong with you. Or maybe you go about trying to fix this person. But either way, you're very much attached to making this not be what it is. And that right there is something to start to take a look at. That's an access point. Like, we get to look at, when I work with clients in inner coaching processing, we look at what is it that has you so attached? Really, why can't you just let go? Somebody does something like this, they dismiss you, invalidate you, maybe they physically harm you. Why do you still feel the need to hold on? There are different reasons at the bottom of it all for everybody, but there are some root causes that you can be responsible for. And responsibility doesn't mean fault. And it doesn't mean it's your fault that they are the way they are, that they treat you the way they are. But you do have a responsibility for being in the relationship and staying in the relationship, or allowing yourself to be in this type of relationship that doesn't lead to freedom and fulfillment and well-being for you. Most of us have a choice to exit these things, but we find ourselves not. And I've done this multiple times in my life. From very early on as a kid, I saw this pattern playing out as I hung out with gang members. I had people that were supposed to be my friends that robbed me, stole from me, wanted to fight me, different things like that just don't seem very friendly at all. And yet it happens. And so I would think that I needed to appease more or try to be friends more, you know what I mean? Try to work that thing out. And I picked this pattern up clearly from watching my mother do this over and over again. And she had her reasons for doing that over and over again. And fortunately, I've been able to work with my mother and understand what was really driving her to be this way, to keep letting abusers into her life. And I won't go into all of that right now, but in your area of life, when you're with people that just take advantage of you, that you know are not healthy for you, you're doing your best, you're putting your best foot forward, you're willing to acknowledge your own mistakes, you're willing to make efforts in communication, to explore ways to make it work, and you try, and it seems like there's nothing you do seems to get through, and it can be very frustrating. And first and foremost, you got to look at and see, is there a part of you that thinks that it's your fault, and that are you doing something wrong? And no, it's not you. Like, how people respond is on them, how you respond is on you. There may be things you do that can trigger certain patterns that they already have within them, but they have the pattern within them. If somebody's being rude or dismissive or abusive, it's because it's already there within them, and that's on them. All right. And so starting to separate and distinguish the responsibility from you to them is important, and realizing where your responsibility lies and where it ends. And so you have a responsibility for your actions and your responses, but not necessarily theirs. Now, from a more evolved perspective, we can actually say we could be responsible for the entire experience. But this is a very high level perspective that doesn't just show up very naturally for most of us. We can get there through a high degree of processing our internal conditions and our internal understanding, and see that we really are at cause for everything in our life. We actually have that degree of power, but this just isn't our natural experience, and it's hard to see. And so it can be very invalidating for people to even think of that possibility. But I will say that it can be experienced. I've actually experienced this within my own life. My own state of mind and emotion have been to a place where, wow, I am responsible for everything going on. I can be responsible for everything that's happening, past, present, and future. And it's a certain unique way of perceiving. And it's powerful. It's an empowering ultimately when you get there the right way. But in the immediate sense, let's just say there is a boundary. There are others that have this responsibility to be who they are and what they are, and they will be who and what they are. And you have the responsibility to be and do and have what you are. And when you allow people to dismiss, to avoid you, to neglect you, to whatever, and not be in a way that really works with what it is that's important to you, then there's a responsibility on your part for why you're attached, right? Why do you want this relationship so bad? Why don't you let go? Why do you allow this to keep happening? And when you start to look at that and just get in touch with your inner mechanisms and welcome them and honor them and realize that you're not doing anything wrong, but that you have reasons, and it's important to be gentle with yourself about this, to discover these reasons gently and to welcome them in and become aware of them. And by becoming aware of them, you can start to let them go. Simply just observing them as they are, allowing them to be there, bringing them into the full view of awareness begins to create a release of their control over your life, because they tend to run automatically, right? I feel maybe a sense of guilt, like I did something wrong because this person is angry. And I don't want to feel that guilt. I don't want to feel a sense of rejection. And the effort to avoid the pain that I feel with the guilt and the sense of rejection can drive me to cling to this person more or try to do better or do whatever. But the real issue is that this person is exposing this part of me that really deep down inside feels very empty and afraid or alone or hurt. And rather than feel that pain that's there from me, I try to get them to be happy or keep them in my life. I don't want to lose them. But what's really driving all of that, and then they continue to be the way they're being, but what's driving all of that is this deeper sense of pain that I'm not aware of. And so that's the root of what keeps us in these relationships that aren't working. and it feels like it's the other person doing stuff to us. But really, we have a responsibility for being in this relationship, and we need to be gentle when we discover that. Not make ourselves wrong, but be compassionate and gracious and, caring, and really self-affirming. Like, yeah, of course you would, not want to feel that pain and that guilt. Of course you're going to react this way and try to keep this relationship going, or try to fix yourself, or you maybe try to fix this person. Of course you're going to try and do these things because, yeah, that pain there, it's like, so it's been something that you didn't want to feel. But when you learn through inner coaching to become a space of awareness for everything that's present, things don't hurt when you look at them or welcome them into awareness. You can actually just observe them, notice them, and start to just discharge the reactive force, the compulsions that drive you to take these efforts that keep you trapped in a relationship that's not working, or doing things that are actually causing you to lose energy, a sense of love and fulfillment. Whatever is being lost, you realize, like, wait a minute, I do have control here. And so inner coaching practices and tools and distinctions give you the ability to identify these deeper causes, and not just identify them, but transform them. And in a very gentle way. It doesn't have to be erratic. There's also communication tools that can support you in having proper conversations with people. But there's some people who are just going to be angry with you, not do it the way that would be healthy for you and for them maybe. They're just going to be the way that they are, and you can actually let that go. You do not have to keep entertaining that. And it's easier said than done initially, but it's actually easier done than said when you actually get in touch with what's there. Once you get in touch with the real thing that's holding it, it's not hard to let go at all. It's real simple. But the problem is most of us are not accessing our subconscious drivers, the motivators. We don't see, sense, or feel them. They're below the radar of our awareness, and so they keep running the show. And then we make up stories and excuses and justifications for why we're doing what we're doing, or why things are the way they are, that are really not the truth at all. They're just us trying to make sense of it, or our brain wanting to organize this experience in some way that it makes sense to it. And it really isn't, the way to go about it. It will never really give us freedom. What gives you freedom is unhooking from the emotional and somatic conditions that are the driving force behind your behavior. Okay, so there are feelings, there are sensations, there are effort impulses. There's basically this way of avoiding pain and gaining pleasure, conditioning that runs the show. And this is typically invisible to most of us. So through inner coaching, you get access to that, and you can start to release these relationships and the dynamics. Particularly, you release yourself from your pattern of behavior, because there's always a pattern of behavior on your end that's got you in this situation in the first place, keeps you in it in the second place, and has you not wanting to really leave or change anything. And so when you start to be willing to take a look at this, you can start to get power back in your life. So I'm just going to give a quick little guided process experience where you can take a look at an area in your life or relationship that's, seemingly causing you pain, right? It's like this relationship just keeps hurting. It doesn't seem to validate who and what I know myself to be. It hurts me all the time, and I keep trying, and I put my best effort forth. It's not working, and but I can't let go. I keep doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results. So you're going to look at a relationship like that and explore using this guided process. So go ahead and just begin to relax. And through relaxation, it allows you to access the inner world a lot easier. And by relaxing the body, it prevents the body, the emotions, and even the mind from overreacting and being overly chaotic when we start to explore the deeper content. So it allows us to view these very powerful forces in a very non-chaotic way. So it's simple to relax, actually. It's about sitting still, being quiet in your body, and beginning to just notice how you feel around your head and your face, and letting go of any tension that you feel therein. Letting go of the tension in the forehead, the temples, the eyes, the nose, around the mouth and the jaw. Jaw muscles here usually get really tight. People hold a lot of tension here. Let that go. Release tension in the neck. Soften the neck, soften the throat. And let's soften the top of the head and work our way back down the back of the head, just relaxing those muscles there. And relax the shoulders. Just let them drop, loosen. Relax the arms and the hands and the fingers. Good. Let's let the chest soften. The heart open. Whatever that feels like to you. There's no wrong way to do any of this. Just explore your body. The idea is to let go and to relax. Relax the stomach. Relax the upper, middle, and lower back. Your hips, your groin, and your legs all the way down through the knees, shins, calves, ankles, feet, and toes. Just releasing and letting go. And just notice the quality of your experience right now. What this relaxation process is doing is allowing you to realize yourself as awareness. And the more you let go, the more you realize the awareness that you actually are. That you are the one that is aware of the mind, aware of the emotions, aware of the body and the sensations therein. You're aware of all that's happening in the world around you. So as awareness, you begin to have a clear view of all of these things. And there's no need to change or to correct anything about yourself or what you see right now. If you can allow your thoughts to just be, that's great. Allow the feelings in the body to just be, that's great. Just notice. And can you welcome any sensations that you feel within the body? If there's any tightness, if there's any tension, just welcome that into awareness, just observing. Good. And just be this calm, centered, aware state of being. And now from this place of awareness, you can welcome into view a particular relationship that doesn't seem to be serving you, that keeps causing you pain, it seems. Can you just observe it? Allow it to be here, whatever you see about it. Meaning just allow whatever you witness to be witnessed. The things you don't like, the feelings that you feel. We're just welcoming everything. We're not doing anything with any of it right now. We're just allowing it to be observed. Notice the way this person communicates with you. Notice the way that you communicate with them. Notice the interactions, particularly the ones that seem to be frustrating or discomforting or even painful. And just observe. Just take notice of what's going on. And just allow it all to be as it was, as you see it, as you experience it. And let's bring a little more attention to what you notice in the body happening. What do you feel in your body as you observe these interactions? Where do you feel the feelings? Do you notice any tightness anywhere, tension or discomfort around your head, your face? Are you clenching any muscles? Is your throat tight? Your jaw? Shoulders? Your chest? Just notice what the body does when you think about this particular relationship and these interactions. And just continue to allow these sensations to be witnessed and observed. Just welcome them into view. Okay, good. And now take a look at any effort that you've been making in this relationship. Whether it's the effort to fix a person, to appease this person, to gain their approval, to avoid their disapproval. Maybe there's an effort to blame them or make them wrong. Just notice your own efforts here and what those efforts might be. And again, just welcome into view. Notice how you feel as you observe the effort, or just bringing things into awareness, the parts of your experience and your expression. Good, and let's take a look at this person's effort. What are the efforts that they're making in their communication, in their actions? Do they withdraw? Do they dismiss? Do they invalidate? Just take a look at their efforts, whatever it looks like. Their effort is, what's the force they're applying in their communication or with their words or their body language? What are they trying to do effort-wise? Just observe it. Just look for the intentions, the energy that's coming through them. This is not something to judge if you can. If you can just surrender the make wrong of their behavior, but just notice their effort. And if there's a part of you making it wrong, it's okay. Just notice that it is. And to the best of your ability, let that make wrong go so you could just observe the efforts as neutrally as possible. But you don't need to force any of this. This all can happen very easily and effortlessly. Just witnessing their efforts. Good. Now let's take a deeper look at you and your efforts, the motivations behind your effort. Whether you're trying to change, fix, or control the relationship, gain their approval, avoid disapproval, or get some other need met, to be seen, to be heard, understood, acknowledged. Whatever it is you're going after, just notice that effort that you make to get something from this dynamic. When you're trying to speak, you're trying to share, you're trying to listen, you're trying to make the relationship work. Just get connected with your efforts to do that. And let's take a little bit of a deeper look, if you can, underneath that effort. What is motivating that effort, really? And the way you can discover this is start to feel into the body. What in the body is going on along with this effort? What do you feel and where do you feel it? Just notice that. This is not about being up in your head. This is about really feeling into the body. So just notice the impulses in the body, the energy, the sensations behind the effort, and just welcome that into awareness just as it is. And just notice whatever you notice is showing up. Good. Now, you can practice and explore the possibility of being curious as to whether or not really you can release these impulses behind your actions, this effort. Can you just let go of whatever that impulse may be? Can you release it from within? Can you let go within the body? Can you let the body surrender the effort, the impulse, the drive to change anything about this person or this relationship, to try and control anything? Can you release this effort? You're releasing yourself from your habits and your conditioning that keep you here. If you have a difficult time, that's okay. Just notice that. If it's easy, great. Either way, just welcome into awareness whatever is happening. Observing. There's nothing wrong, and there's no way to do this wrong. Whatever shows up is what there is. If there is a resistance, a fear of letting go, an inability maybe, Well, just notice that. Just let it be just the way it is. I'm sure you've already discovered a lot here, so you can use this process multiple times. We're going to wrap this process up with a nice breath in through the nose and out through the nose. In through the nose, out through the nose, or mouth, sorry, in through the nose, out through the mouth. And now take a breath in and hold gently at the top. And just hold this breath and relax the body. Swallow the saliva. Just be with your experience for a moment. Make your lips into a tiny pinhole. Slowly exhale. And just release and just be. Wonderful. And just notice the quality of your experience. Reflect a little bit on what you discovered inside of this process. This is a process that just brings awareness. There really is no need to control anything or change anything. All the things that are not working for us are really, or that we see cause us failure in some way, are driven by the fact that they are recorded in unconscious parts of our mind and emotion and body. And by bringing awareness to that, we begin to dissolve the power they possess over us. So you can use this process multiple times to bring awareness to different parts of your experience in these relationships. And you probably notice the expanse, the greater freedom, a little bit of ease that you feel. Allowing yourself to have your emotions, your feelings and sensations is very comforting. So use this as much as you like. I would love to hear what you got in any of the comments below, or you can send me a message or anything at all. I'd love to know how this went for you. It's good to write out sometimes what happened as well. What did you discover? And if you don't want to share it with me or the public, feel free to journal it and just explore what you discovered. It's another way for you to process your experience and maybe take it a little bit deeper. All right, so thanks for participating with me. I'm Vince Polito, inner coach and founder of the Inner Coaching Academy. I appreciate the opportunity to share with you. If you think somebody could benefit from this, please share with them. Of course, like and subscribe also if you're on YouTube or any other channel that you can subscribe to. It could be our podcast. And you'll get more content like this, as well as other cool, informative teachings and trainings and distinctions, and perhaps some interviews as well, and some great conversations that will help you understand this work better and apply it in your life. All right, thank you very much. Talk soon.